Can you imagine not having your favorite food again? Not wearing fashionable clothes, never sleeping in an air-conditioned room, or having a fulfilled love life, and all of that at your own free will? It sounds quite impossible, does it not? Quite difficult. Who would give up simple pleasures of life, and why? Now, this would seem even more far-fetched if we think of the rich and the privileged. It's a common perception that those who are born with silver spoons in their mouths rarely look beyond their comfortable lives. The rich are often unaware of the struggles of the poor. They are pampered and spoiled, entirely dependent on their wealth and luxury. But this story might intrigue you. Devanshi Sanghvi, an 8-year-old girl from the Indian state of Gujarat, has decided to renounce all her wealth. She was born in an ultra-rich family. Her father, Dhanesh Sanghvi, is a very successful diamond businessman. He owns one of the oldest diamond manufacturing companies in Gujarat. The company has branches all over the world with an annual turnover of billions of rupees. The little girl was a diamond heiress. She could have inherited all of these riches, but she chose a different path, a path of monkhood. Devanshi has renounced her family's legacy and wants to live the life of a hermit. She has decided to become a Jain monk. Now, who are Jain monks and how do they live? Let's understand more about them first. Jainism is one of the oldest religions in the world. It originated in India over 2,500 years ago. Its followers believe in spiritual purity and enlightenment. And those who decide to follow monkhood give up the worldly life and all its attachments. They spend their time seeking spiritual upliftment. Jain monks completely detach from the social activities. They take vows of absolute non-violence, truthfulness, celibacy, detachment. They walk barefoot, eat only what they receive as alms. Now, you might find all of this difficult, and that's only natural. We have grown accustomed to living a material life, finding happiness in material possessions, being glued to our smartphones, increasingly dependent on technology, making money, building a career, traveling the world. Isn't that what life is all about for many of us? And of course, you have the right to do all of that. But Jain monks have a different worldview. They say that they don't find their lifestyle difficult, rather it brings them peace. It brings them fulfillment. It makes them feel spiritually enlightened. This 8-year-old diamond heiress has had all the luxury at her disposal, but despite that, she has led a very simple life. In fact, according to reports, Devanshi has never watched TV or any movie to date. She has never eaten at a restaurant either. The little girl is very religious, and ever since her childhood, she has followed the rule of praying 3 times a day. After witnessing 367 initiation ceremonies of other Jain monks, the 8-year-old decided to retire from worldly life. Her huge transformation was followed by a large procession with elephants, horses, and camels to celebrate the occasion. But let me tell you, Devanshi is just one example. Hundreds of young Indians belonging to the Jain community have started taking the same path. Until a few years ago, there used to be hardly 10 to 15 initiation ceremonies across India every year, but the figures have increased sharply. There were 250 such ceremonies in 2018, over 400 in 2019, and the numbers just continue to rise. While a majority of the people are stuck in a loop, suffering from several addictions, hustling day in and day out for money, for their careers, why is this section of the society renouncing wealth and comfort for an austere monastic life? And when a very young child makes such a decision, there are always several concerns whether the decision was their own. Are they mature enough to understand the implications of their choice? The interest around monkhood has been growing. Community leaders attribute this rise to three major factors. The first one is increasing pressures of the modern world. Our hyper-connected societies have increased the economic and social stress involved. There is a crippling pressure on youngsters to earn a living and live up to their potential. But you see, that changes when they turn to monkhood. Once riddled with concerns like family, friends, beauty, career, they purge themselves of all of these affairs. This brings along a sense of liberty and spirituality. Another reason is the rise of social media gurus. Almost all Jain novices speak warmly of their religious leaders, and these gurus inspire tremendous obedience and loyalty, using their good oration skills. They attract young people towards monkhood. Until a decade ago, in fact, Jains relied on literature for knowledge. These scriptures were written in ancient Indian languages. But this has changed with the rise of technology. Stories of the Jain religion are now made into short films, and very convincing ones. They are easily shareable on social media. The younger cohort might not pick up a book, but it's almost always using the internet. Youngsters can see one small story in a minute or two, stories that glorify renunciation, and sometimes even portraying monks as superheroes. And this is enough to influence young minds. Number three, the growing frequency of religious retreats. A superstructure of religious gatherings allows young people to experiment with monastic life. They can dip their toes in the waters of monkhood long before they choose to commit to it. You see, that fear of a monk's life, the fear of giving up everything, it's often removed during these retreats, and that is what the analysts say. A retreat is the first step, a sort of training camp to become a monk. They slowly inspire confidence in youngsters that they can actually live like this. The appeal of monastic life is on the rise. Hundreds are taking up the path of spirituality, even ultra-rich children like Devanshi Sanghvi. Is it time to move beyond the presumption that the rich revel in material possessions? WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.